Hey guys, welcome back. Today I'm going to talk about my experience as an Ivy League Premed double major, which I actually don't think I've ever said out loud. It sounds really cringy, but I think it's important to talk about because there are a lot of parts of my opportunities and social life that I think I'm finally processing and wanting to talk about and kind of share my experiences. And I have notes on my phone, which is why I'll be looking down. But first I want to start with academics. So I remember walking into like my first basic science pre-med prereqs my freshman year, and literally no one in the room looked like me, and for some reason I took that as I can do whatever I want to. Like, there's no molds or anything for me to follow. I should just use this opportunity to kind of do whatever I want. And so I decided to study whatever I wanted to, and I ended up doing two non-overlapping majors, which were biochemistry and urban studies, and it was honestly incredible. Definitely the hardest but most amazing thing I've ever gotten to do. And I learned so much about cities and science, but also I learned about communities and my specific clinical interests. And so I thought that was really beautiful. I took a lot of classes, but academics wise, I was so challenged. I was so challenged in the depth of any specific topic we were learning about. In biochemistry, I was so challenged when different speakers came into my urban studies classes to teach us about what they were doing, the research they got involved in, and I genuinely feel like I learned so much, and I'm so grateful for that. And I feel like that really is specific to the school I went to, and so I'm grateful. And moving on, I guess, to the social aspect, which is kind of the downer part of this video, is that socially, I feel like maybe I didn't really excel. It was really difficult for me. I do think that it was a very competitive space, and it did cause me a lot of anxiety to be around pre-meds a lot of the time, but also just people I wasn't used to. I never went to any private schools growing up. I didn't really know what that would be like, and I was just really excited to be in Philadelphia because I grew up there and I really wanted to come back. But I did feel kind of like I didn't really fit in, and I felt like that translated to, for example, I was in literally one club because you had to apply to clubs and interview for clubs, and I felt like it was very selective, and I felt like it was really hard to be on leadership. It was really hard to even talk to some people that would be like, oh, like, I'm doing this and this. Is it enough to get into med school? And you're just like, what are you talking about? It's more than I do. Am I gonna get into med school? And there were definitely situations where I cried in front of people and ran away from people, and it was not great. But that's only one side of it. Another side of it is that I got to be friends with incredible random people. I became friends with a girl that I met outside of a fruit truck. We were both getting smoothies, and we were wearing the same shirt, and we were just talking, and I became friends with a guy that I met on my floor freshman year, and we volunteered at the same place for all 4 years, and we became such good friends, and I think that that's so beautiful. And I really learned how to make friends outside of academics, which did end up kind of being my saving grace on the social side of things, but it definitely was a culture shock to come and see people who, went to private schools and knew certain hidden curriculum things I didn't know, and also were so pre-professional, geared towards what they wanted to do. But there's good and bad in everything, and I think you just are tossed into it, but then you learn how to, you know, find where you feel comfortable. And then the last thing I wanted to talk about are the opportunities. So genuinely, I felt like, sorry, the noise. So in terms of opportunities, I really did feel like there were so many opportunities for you to grow. For example, I was really late, I guess, to research. I know a lot of my friends started the summer after like their freshman year. I personally didn't do like wet lab or like science research until my senior year, and I did have a few urban studies projects like my junior year, and I actually thought that that path was like right on time for me. And also I got to do exactly like the niche, like research the niche topics I was interested in, like pollution and zoning and lung regeneration, all these random things that like I honestly should not have access to do just because I wanted to, but that they were doing at that school and I got to get involved with, and it was really awesome. I think, yes, because I got to research what I was interested in, but also because there was no point ever where I ever felt inhibited. Maybe I wasn't always encouraged by all of my mentors and my teachers, but I never felt inhibited, and they were so kind throughout the whole process. It was never about the outcome, like what I could produce, but more about like me growing as an individual, like the experience of research. And I guess at the time it did feel kind of stressful when it was like I was behind on my urban studies thesis and I felt like I didn't really have a clear direction, but I learned so much and I felt like the learning was emphasized. And so I, again, I'm just super grateful for everything. Of course, going to the school I went to was not perfect. I don't think any school would be perfect, but I'm really just in awe of like everything that's come out of it. Also, one thing I didn't talk about is the pre-med advising. They were so good. They met with me so many times. They edited my personal statement. They gave me tips on everything. And at the end of the day, college is something that a lot of us are, you know, involved with to help set up our future the best way possible. And I definitely felt like, despite anything, everyone was super excited to start their futures and also felt really well supported. Like, not just myself, but my classmates, my friends, everyone. And so it was a challenging but lovely experience. And would I do it over again? I don't know. I guess I am in school again, so we'll see how that goes. But yeah, if you have any questions about anything, if you're thinking of maybe going to like any school, if you have questions about going to any type of college and you're worried about anything, please let me know. If you want to hear more about my specific experiences, I'd be happy to share with you guys in the comments or make a separate video. So thank you guys so much for watching, and for anyone starting college, starting school, I want you to know that everything will be okay. Good luck with everything, and definitely find people you can lean on, and you're definitely not alone if there are moments where you feel overwhelmed or like you don't fit in, you're not meant to be there, anything like that. Just continue to work hard and really lean on what you are learning and what you do have access to. Being in Philadelphia was like an amazing part of my college experience. I would never trade it for anything else, and I really felt like I took full advantage of the community, getting to volunteer, getting to meet people, and getting to go to school there. So I feel really grateful. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm holding it up because the lighting is getting bad, but that's my friend Omid in the back. Hey! Okay, bye guys. See you next time.